The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB the Sports Guy. We got a great show for you all tonight. Later on tonight, we will have the head basketball coach of the Mandeville Lady Skippers, Coach Melissa Weinmunson, joining us. But we're going to start the show off with the head coach of the Archbishop Shaw Eagles basketball team, Coach Wesley Laurendine, in a second. But first, I have to announce my co-host, my guy that's always with me. You can find him on CrescentCitySports.com, the one, the only, George Peppers. What's up, GP?
Not too much, JB. Another great show, as you mentioned, lined up. No VK tonight. He's on assignment. But, it's a beneficial one, to say the least. But we're going to make it work tonight. It's going to be fun. We got two great guests, and you mentioned Coach Laurendine. And I have a pretty interesting question I'm going to ask him as it relates to you. But
Me?
I'm going to, yeah, to you. You'll see. But it's just know that it'll be all in jest.
Of course, I know. That's how.
It's not. We don't want to get overly emotional like a certain co-host. I mean, it's all love. We don't get all emotional at all, but it's gonna be like tongue in cheek and in jest. You'll get a heck of a laugh out of it though.
I got you. I got you.
All right,
All right.
bro.
Without further ado, this guy took over the head coaching duties of Archbishop Shaw back in 2015, and he has done a fabulous job rebuilding the program to where it is now. It is one of the best basketball programs in the state of Louisiana. They have won district championships and whatever you call it, the top 28 on the March Madness tournament of whatever it's called now. He has gotten Archbishop Shaw to the semifinals in back-to-back years, and they're looking to go there again this year and get to the state championship game and win it. Our special guest, the one and only Coach Wesley Laurendine. What's going on, Coach?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on, man.
Our pleasure.
Oh, that don't sound like the coach's voice. Like it's a different voice from Coach Laurendine. Must be the house voice, huh, Coach?
Just putting the kids to bed, man.
I got you, man.
Putting
Let's
the
get
kids
it.
to bed. Yeah,
Let's,
man.
let's
I'm ready.
get it. You ready, Coach? All right, let's get it started. Coach, you played at Rummel. You wanted to be a physical therapist as you went to study kinesiology, but what changed in order for you to want to become a basketball coach?
Well, that's weird. I had no intentions of becoming a high school basketball coach. I would tell you that. I got out of college. I got recruited to go play at a couple different smaller schools, Loyola. Oddly enough, when Loyola started offering scholarships back in 2004. That was the first year they offered scholarships again under Jerry Hernandez, and he offered me my junior year. I was the first. I'm bugging. That was my. I was the first guy to get offered back in 2004 to restart the program, and I was honored for that. And Mike Giolando took over the next year and stuck with it. And I got offered from University of Faulkner and University of Mobile, and they were both top programs in the NAI at the time. And then I got offered to go play as a walk-on, preferred walk-on to Southern Miss and Southeastern, and decided, some things went weird. There's recruiting stuff goes on, and I had those offers, and I wound up walking on at Southern Miss, and after about a year I got injured playing flag football and all these other things, and it was just a weird thing. It was Katrina time, and I wound up, joining a fraternity, and all this other stuff happened, and I just wound up hanging it up, and that was where I thought it was going to end, right there, and I got away from it. I moved back home after I graduated in Kines, and I started my master's degree at Southeastern. And I was doing exercise science to try to do 1 year there and then move on to get my doctorate in physical therapy. And I had one of my former coaches, Tony Volpe, asked me to start coaching his Little Farms, help him start coaching his Little Farms team because he knew I was in town. And I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll go over there. And started coaching. And one of the kids that was on the team was named Trey LaForge. And I'm sure some of you might remember Trey played on the state championship team for Jesuit. He was a quarterback, and I just kind of started really liking what we were doing, and it was fun to coach Trey, and he was going to Jesuit, and I was like, man, I think I might like doing this. Let me see what I can do. I called around to a couple of my former coaches, and I called Mr. Kirkwood. I called my head coach when I was in high school, Steve Alfonso, and he called me back and said, "You really want to do this?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I think Jesuit's got an opening for the 8th grade job. Let me talk to Jonathan Hernandez, who was an assistant at the time, who's now still the assistant at Jesuit." And they talked, and they said, "Hey, do you want to interview, I guess, for the 8th grade job?" I said, "I guess." I was bartending. And so I walked into Coach Jennings' office, and I hadn't seen him since I played. And the last time we played, I was yelling at him, on the sideline. And we had a great competitive relationship when I was playing. He hated me, I hated him, but it was in a good way, And he asked me one question. He said, "Are you going to play? Are you going to coach like you played?" I said, "I guess. I don't know. That's the only way I know how to do it." He's like, "All right, well, that's it." And he just turned around and started working. That was it. And I guess I was the 8th grade coach. If you work for Coach Jennings, you got to figure stuff out. He's a great the way that he does it allows you to become a good head coach because, he allows you to coach. So that's what he did for me. And I just loved it ever since.
It's funny you mentioned Coach Chris Jennings. I've been to a few Shaw Jesuit games, especially when Shaw was in the Catholic League. And before the games would start, I would see you and Chris Jennings talk, pregame talk. And this is me not knowing that you were at Jesuit at one time as one of his assistants.
Yeah.
How much of a mentor was he to you?
Oh, at the time, and he's still, I still talk. We still talk all the time. But at that time, it's my dad. That was a mentor of mine. That, my dad wasn't really keen on me coaching in the beginning. He wanted, he wanted me to make a good amount of money. We don't make a lot of money. But he loves. No, my dad was a coach when I was a kid, and so he coached me as a child. And then, but the only sport he didn't really coach me in a lot was basketball. And he kind of realized after a while that he couldn't get me there. I kind of knew more than him. And that when I was like 10, 11, he stopped coaching me. But then when I started working at Jesuit, Jennings was almost like, a second father figure to me. because he taught me how to work. I didn't know how to work. I just thought it was you go, you show up, you do your stuff, whatever. He showed me like he's just always in the gym. He's just in the gym, and he was there first. He was there. He stayed last, and he always talked about either being a LIFO or a philo, and I didn't know what the hell that was, and he'd always ask you, "What do you want to be, a LIFO or a philo?" And all the kids like LIFO, and they don't realize that that's the exact opposite, because LIFO is last in, first out, and the philo is first in, last out, and so little things on how to work and just the importance of like being there and being present and just if a kid wants to get in the gym, you got to find a way to get him in. Like he was always good with that, and he'd always complain when kids wouldn't. This kid don't even shoot the ball. How's he supposed to get the shot up? Because Jennings, I mean, if you haven't seen him play, he don't miss. So, but it was great. I mean, he still is a mentor to me, so I appreciate everything he did for me.
What was the feeling like when Archbishop Shaw named you their basketball head coach?
I remember exactly where I was when I got the final word of like, we had been talking for like about a week, but I was actually, my brother-in-law was getting honored as a paramedic, like paramedic of the year in Gretna. And I was at his like ceremony, and they called me. I went outside and I went back in. My father-in-law, who's one of the nicest guys of all time, looked at me. He knew that I was up for it, and then I just looked at him. I was like, I'm the head coach, and I was 27. I was way too young, but it worked out.
It worked out great because you was the right guy for the job. You're the new head coach, and Shaw had some down years before you got there.
There's some down years when I was there too.
True. But we saw the progress that was happening. What was some of the things you had to change within the program?
Everything. It wasn't a single thing that they did before that we did when I got there. Not one thing. The only thing that I did was made the most important phone call I could ever make to help with the program. And that I called my assistant, Derek Charles. His son, Jawan, was there the year before, and he was the best player on the team, really good player. And I knew that Derek, was involved in the West Bank, and he had roots there, and he was trustworthy, and just an overall, just an unbelievable guy. I mean, I've been so blessed to get to know Derek over the last 10 years, and just one of my favorite people I've ever met in my life. And when but besides keeping Derek around, nothing. I mean, every single thing was changed. From the culture to the expectations to, the way that I coach is probably a little bit different than most. And it had to take me a little bit of time to figure out that I just had to be me more than I couldn't be Jennings. I couldn't be whoever else. I had to just be me. And a lot of that has to do with, I use this word all the time. Love is like, I care about my kids a lot. It makes it, sometimes it's, it makes it hard because you want this one kid, he's such a great kid. I want him to do well. It's just not doing well. And you have to move on from that. And because I just care about the kids so much. And some of those guys in the beginning didn't understand why I would care about them. So it was a pushback. Like, this guy, he doesn't really care about me. I'm like, no, dude, I do. What do you need? Like, I'll do it for you. And he's like, well, why would you care about me? And so with that, and we started talking about all in, and then, keeping the kids on the West Bank, I mean, I knew from when I was playing JPRD East versus JPRD West, I'm sitting there going, if you could just get like 3 of these guys to just show up to show, we're going to win, Yep. And we were lucky enough for some of those guys that first trusted us and wanted to come to school at Shaw, and they were just such a great fit in the beginning. Isaiah Barnes and Isaiah Crawford and
Yeah.
Rodney Phillips, and then Gene Baque. I heard you talk about Lil Dizzy's, and
Yeah.
Kenneth Taylor. I can go down the line of just great. All of them are just doing well, and then obviously everybody knows about Cam, and and it's just continued on since those guys really are the ones that they were the frontier of guys saying, hey, we're going to go to Shaw and we're going to trust this guy, who's an East banker, went to Rummel, and now I'm a full-on West banker now. I mean, I'm talking to you from Algiers Point, dude, Some West bankers don't think that Algiers is the West Bank, but I for sure tell you the East bankers, they think it's the West Bank.
Yeah. 2017, you made the playoffs. 2018, you made the playoffs. But in 2019, you got your first playoff win against St. Paul's. Talk about that game and how it went down to the wire.
Oh, man. I can't believe it. It was only 2019. I thought it was older than that. Man. Those first couple of years were tough, dude. But we were down 8, I believe, going into the fourth. Something like that, 7 or 8. And we had lost to St. Paul's earlier in the year on a buzzer beater. On a play, this guy hit a big 3. I mean, we were up 2. Guy hits a big 3, wins the game. And we were down 8, and Cameron was a 8th grader. And Isaiah Barnes was a freshman. Crawford only played the first half. He got hurt. He had been hurt with his knee. And we had Christian Jourdain. Christian Jourdain was the only senior on the team. And we had Corey Reed, was a sophomore. I mean, I didn't name one single person over 5'11" just now. All right, but we decided we had talked about they do this rub. St. Paul's has always, since Stephen Dale's been there, they do this rub, and I'm like, look, guys, we just got to start jumping the rub and just blitz them and pick them up and start trapping them everywhere or whatever, speed them up. Well, Barnes gets a turnover layup. Christian Jourdain turnover layup. Next thing you know, it's 4. We sub in Roy Pate, and Roy Pate was
Roy Pate. I taught Roy Pate Taekwondo.
Look, Roy Pate, if you know Roy, he's a goober, but he doesn't know what pressure is because he just doesn't even know what that is. Like, he just lives in a world that pressure doesn't exist. So he gets fouled earlier in the game. He had airballed two balls that they weren't even within the vicinity of the goal. I took him out. I'm like, dude, get out, But Nolan Cahill, who was a sophomore, junior at the time, fouled out. So I didn't have any bodies. I only had like 7 dudes that I could even put in the game, And so I put in him. He gets fouled underneath the basket because Barnes throws him a pass. He gets fouled. He made 6 free throws in a row to win the game and got named player of the game. He was never the player of the game again, ever.
Wow.
For any other game we've ever played. But just the fact that we started turning them over, next thing you know, we wound up winning the game. And it was just a great moment. We went to St. Aug that next year. St. Aug either got to the state championship or whatever. And we took them, we played them hard. And I think we wound up losing by 10. And then before that, we had lost by 40, something like that. But that was the first time when I was like, all right, we had beat Brother Martin on a buzzer beater the week before that. Cameron hit a corner 3. Isaiah Barnes drove it, kicked it to him, corner 3, we win. That was my second Catholic League victory in 3 years or 4 years, whatever it was. That was rough. But once that happened, I remember Nolan Cahill was crying in the locker room after we won that game. And I was like, it's working. It's working. They care. They believe, and it was one game. But special moments, and I'll never forget those.
Without a doubt. Would you say that playoff victory is what changed the program around?
Really? I mean, to be honest with you, it was the Brother Martin win.
Brother Martin, okay.
It was the Brother Martin win when we knew we could win in that league. Like, they knew, because we had thrown away so many games before that. We knew we could win. I knew we were going to win. I kept telling guys, we're going to win. Like, I don't know when it's going to happen. Might not be. We're going to win because we're doing all the right things. You know, we're doing all the right things. We're showing up. We're practicing hard. We're playing hard. We wound up finishing that season 14-18. And I was 14-18 at that time was the most wins that Shaw had in like 15 years.
Yeah.
Something like that. And like I was like, it's working. You know, we went from the year before that, we were 4-22. And we were 4-22. We had Jay Francis on the team. He was a freshman who was a starter at the University of Houston. He couldn't walk and chew gum when I got him as a freshman. And at the end of that year, we almost beat Rummel twice. And I was like, all right, we sucked. We were terrible. But, you know, I started Barnes and him. And that was it. Like that was the team. And we were taking these guys to the wire. And we were going, man, if I could just get like 2 more dudes, like we could be all right. And then sure as hell, Christian Jordan wasn't eligible to play that year. If we would have had him, we probably would have won. But he wasn't eligible. Yes, but yeah, it was that Brother Martin game.
Like I mentioned earlier, 2022 and 2023, you guys got to the semifinals. Didn't turn out the way that you liked, but what positives did you take from those 2 games?
Well, we were in a position to win both of those games.
Yes.
There were close games, especially Madison Prep the second year. When we got into them, it was a 2 possession game almost the entire fourth quarter.
Yep.
And the Scotlandville game, I remember the third quarter, we'd come out, I think we're down 6, something like that in the third. We turned them over 11 times in the third quarter. Yep. 11 times. Their coach is calling timeout after timeout. We missed 7 threes and 4 uncontested layups. And he's calling. I'm not calling timeout. I'm going, we should be winning. Like, I don't, and I'm telling the guys, like, he's calling timeout. He's burning timeouts. He's freaking out. Y'all are doing everything right. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, you're turning them over. We got 11 turnovers. They didn't get the ball past half court like 6 times. I said, we're just not making the shots. And look, I did the whole go practicing. I went to practice at UNO in the arena. I'm practicing at all the arenas, It didn't matter. And were we scared of the moment? I don't think that really was it. I just think the ball didn't go in. We'd always been a good shooting team. Since we've been good, we've been a good shooting team. Because before we weren't that big, and that's not the case this year, but before we were always a smaller team, which is kind of the signs of the West Bank. West Bank dudes are guards are known to be like small guards that can shoot and stuff like that. So, but I remember those games, man. We hope to be in those games again, and I think we will be. I hope we will be. The guys are clicking. We had a really good practice today. Competitive, getting after each other a little chippy, which is good at this time of year. So,
George Peppers, I pass it to you, my friend.
Oh, first off, thank you for taking the time for joining us, and we appreciate it. First question: looking at your schedule, you've played a pretty reasonably good schedule, and I really want to specifically focus on the Sugar Bowl tournament. Talk about the benefits of playing in a tournament with such high class opposition. I mean, you lost 1 game in that tourney, that was to Silsbee. Looked like you guys left it late. You had chances galore to win that game, but you did well to finish out that tournament. Talk about the benefits of playing in the Sugar Bowl tournament as it relates to the rest of the year.
Yeah, we were sick and hurt and everything going into that tournament, and to come out with 2 wins with kind of what was going on at that time with our team.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that we were about, and I'm not taking anything away from Silsbee and all that. I just think that we were about 10 points better than that team, and we didn't perform at the level that which we expect our kids to perform at. We didn't do that. That's on me. We should have won that game. And as bad as we played, we lost by 2, I think. As bad as we played, we still were in a position to win that game. I think if we win that game, you know, we might have been playing against Peabody or against that Trinity team. And I wish we would have had that opportunity, because the last year we had the opportunity to play in that semifinal game, and just love that atmosphere. And you know, Timmy Bird and WGNO and Ed Daniels, they just do such a good job with that tournament. It's tough. It's just tough. Now, the tournament Nashville was tough too. I mean, not Nashville, Gatlinburg was tough too. Played two really good players. Like both these dudes, we beat one dude had 42. We beat them. Then the next game for the championship, played another guy's going to University of Monmouth or Monmouth University, D1. He went off. He had 42. You know, and they barely beat us, and because we're a collective team. You know, I mean, obviously we have Christian Crapel who leads us in scoring, but then, you know, and I got about 5 or 6 guys that can get 20, you know, on any night. And you know, so that's what makes us so hard to guard. But then again, it's also difficult sometimes, because if you don't have 4 or 5 guys getting in double figures for us, we kind of struggle to win those big games, because we need about 3 to 4 dudes to get in double figures.
Right. I watched that Silsby game with Jared, and we said it to each other as a man. We're like, y'all left it late. Y'all should have won that. And I don't want to add to it. But next question, I want to talk about having to replace a star like Cam Johnson coming into this year. You know, Cam was the wheel, was a lot of what you guys do, and having to replace him. Talk about how your team is this year. Do you feel like there's more balance on this team this year as there was when Cam was there?
You know, it's weird. We played a certain way with Cameron. Look, you can't replace that guy. I mean,
well, no,
and it's not just about who. Like, him and I had such a thing where we could look at each other and say, "Hey, this is what we need to do." And you know, it wasn't just him. It was him within the whole thing. You know, and
right.
And so. But I will tell you this: Christian Crapel and the other seniors, Xavier and Aiden LaSalle. Aiden LaSalle lately has just been playing fantastic.
Yeah,
and, I'm really proud of him, because he at one point during the season he wasn't playing at the level that we expected him to play at, and I think he felt that. I mean, look, my job is to put the best guys on the court at that time. And I'm so happy that he is now playing the way, like today he got on the floor for the ball 2 times at practice. I'm so happy for this guy, because that's all I want for him, is to be successful. So guys like Aiden and Christian and Xavier and Will Lewis, and they all collectively were, before we started the season, I was like, look, dude, like, all of y'all have to do it, you know, and all of y'all have to embody parts of Cameron, of what he was as a person, because look, he's the leading scorer of all time at Archbishop Shaw. You're not like those guys. When you coach, you get a couple of those, you know. And he's at Loyola now. If it wasn't for the transfer portal, he'd be somewhere else, you know. And we all know that. But
yep.
The way that these guys have rallied to keep it going, it's like a lot of people thought, all right, you know, Shaw had a good run, you know. It's over now. It ain't.
Nah.
It ain't over. You know, you should see. I mean, these 2 freshmen that we have that are coming behind these guys, dude. I mean, studs, absolute studs. You know, and then we got an 8th grader, Christian Clare, stud. You know, I mean, just stud. And these are all guys that live on the West Bank. Like, they're all West Bank guys. You know, and then we got a great group of juniors behind. Like, you know, a couple of them play football. Jasper Parker, just an unbelievable natural born leader. Kobe Butler, 6'7", stud, you know, 31 on his ACT too, coaches, if you want to come around and check him out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
Oh, man. I mean, just, you know, and so, like, we're not going anywhere. And that's what I wanted people to understand, is like, you know, I kept looking down the line, all right, hey, when are we going to take our dip? You know, there's got to be a dip somewhere. Look, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, look, we're at some point it's going to happen. I was talking to my AD today about, look, you know, there's going to be a season where it doesn't go as well. It might be this year. I don't know, 18-4, maybe not, you know, but, you know, I mean, we play a couple of good teams in the next couple of weeks. You know, we play Newman canceled the game on us. So I think I found Woodlawn and Baton Rouge to fill in that game. So that'll be a good one. They're always tough.
Yep.
And then, you know, Landry, obviously, in district, and Bell Chase has been playing good ball, man. They're 14-7. You know, so I just want to keep it going. It's fun, you know.
When you're winning, it is fun. That's it's a testament to you that this program continues to maintain a level of success, and you do a great job there. I've watched your teams play. You got a really good group. The Silsby game, I'm not going to extrapolate. I'm just watching you guys. I could see the potential in you. And I was telling Jared, I was like, look, when they get back in state, this is a team that could be big trouble in a playoff setting. Talking about, Jared started on it. I want to extrapolate a little bit. I have a suggestion. If you get back to the top 28 this year, take a screwdriver and unseal the lid off the basket, because you guys did everything right in that second semifinal last year of shooting the ball. I mean, 11. You mentioned it yourself. 11 turnovers. How in the world did they lose that game? I have no earthly idea. Bring a screwdriver and unseal the lid on the basket, because that's what it felt like. Because y'all had great looks, just wasn't falling. My next question, though, talk about a highlight win, and I know this team's in your district, but it's a team that's a two-time state finalist, Landry. And they look to be the goods again this year, potentially. Talk about that group and as it relates, and you guys get them again. So, you know what they say about rematches. What are you gonna have to do to beat them again? You beat them earlier in the season.
Yeah, I mean, Rob does a great job with those guys. He always just got
Yep.
fired up, dude. You know, Coach Rob's on the sideline yelling, screaming. He's got those outfits, man. I can't compete with his outfits. You know, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm out there giving it my best shot. I got to get a better jumpsuit. You know what I mean? Like, I got to get better shoes. Rob's got all the jumpsuits. I'm trying, bro. You know,
The fashion beacon of 10-4A.
yeah. I mean, the dude's from Algiers, man. He's got me. You know, I'm from Metairie.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, I didn't grow up with that kind of jumpsuit material. I'm playing catch up in the 30s.
Oh my God.
You know, but yeah. But you know, all jokes aside, I mean, we gotta, match the intensity of what Landry's always bringing, and be even more. And we kind of need, the West Bank to show up for us and be in the stands and get us going. Look, the band this year, I don't know if y'all have heard our band, but dude, we're like serious, dude. Those dudes are like killing it. You know, they were like in the stands the other day and just jamming out. They're playing "Still Fly" by Big Timers, dude.
Yes, indeed.
You know, I was like, what the hell is this? You know, got Big Timers in there. I'm like sitting on the bench, just like jamming up. You know, but we need to like bring all that, and obviously we need to execute. Look, dude, we're a mismatch, right? I've never had this before in my coaching career, except for one time at Jesuit when I had Foster Morrow, and Trey LaForge and Paul Conkey. We were 6'6", 6'5", and 6'4", and so now I've got 6'7", 6'6", 6'5", and then my guards are 6'2", 6'2", 6 foot, and you got Alan Shaw, who's the lightning in a bottle at 5'9" or whatever he wants to be listed at, and so like we're a mismatch, just that two of them are freshmen. But the last time we played Landry, they Tristan Nakan, who's our freshman, big, who's 6'5", 6'6", they had no answer for him down there, and then so we just got it. That's why we went really big against them last time. So I'm sure they're going to prepare for that.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to keep on, doing what we do best, and we just got to pound it kind of inside against them probably a little bit, and but we shoot the ball well when we play at home. Christian needs to have a big night for us, and Aiden needs to have a big night for us shooting the ball, and Xavier Myers is kind of his name is Xavier, but I've always just called him the X Factor. And then Will Lewis for us has got to just do that dirty work, whereas Kobe and Tristan are going to be mismatches on the inside, and they just have a hard time with that. And then you got Red that just is out there, facilitating everything, hitting big shots. Red's a big time play like game. He's just a gamer. You know, he's out there just making plays, and that's what we need to do.
You guys sit sixth in the power ratings as we speak. Unofficially, you guys are sixth. So you're
Yeah,
in the precipice of a team that has a really big chance to win state in Division Two. Have you had a chance to scour to kind of look at other teams other than the ones that you've played? And how do you feel like you compare to those teams maybe in front of you, the first five per se?
yeah. We played Madison Prep earlier in the year at the Zachary's like Hall of Fame game or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
Lost to them by 2, and at that time, that was in October. Saw them. They're free. I mean, they're freaking. You know, they're good. Peabody's just beating the crap out of everybody. I keep looking at their scores and like, shit. You know, I didn't get to see them play. I just know they got a guy that's like, just they're always like that. It's just a machine over there. Then you got there's a team that's further down than us that I keep looking at going when they get healthy, they're dangerous. That's Hannon. You know, Hannon's got Drew Timmons, and that dude's a monster.
Yes.
He's unbelievable. He's a great player, one of the best high school players I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
Landry, who's below us. You got Vandeville Catholic that's got 3 or 4 guards that are quick as cats. That we went over there last year and beat them at their place. You would have thought, I swear to God, I don't know if y'all went to that game.
I watched it on the stream. I was in Dallas.
You would have thought that Homa has been waiting for this game for 20 years. I mean, this place was the city was shut down. Everybody was there. Your grandma, your aunt and uncle. Unc got kicked out. Dude pushed the official. I'm like, dude, these guys are. I mean, they're hungry for it. And those kids are playing like it. And so, I mean, they got a bunch of really good. I would argue, and I was talking to Errol Golf about this. I would argue that our division might not have the most teams, but the top tier teams are maybe the best teams.
I agree.
I,
In
I,
Division 2.
I agree. I saw Peabody play, and that team. You're right. I mean that defense when they hit that press right, that's a tough outfit. And yeah, they lost in the championship of the Sugar Bowl to Trinity. Trinity was a terrific outfit that week in the Sugar Bowl tournament. Last question before I turn it back over to our esteemed host, and this is actually part of it now. I told them I was going to do it just to have a little fun as the games gain more importance, playoffs, big games. I know coaches are funny about superstitions. Are you going to allow my host to be able to cover these games so that we don't have any bad luck?
I mean, I don't know, man. He can come to any game he wants. Did you
There you go.
to a game that we lost besides the Silsby game?
Well, the Silsby game was the one we went to together, and they lost.
Well, he
So
came to the Mandeville game, I think.
right,
Mandeville, North Shore.
North Shore.
I was at the last one when y'all played Country Day.
Country Day.
they won that game.
Yeah.
We let them come all the way back.
Right.
Mhm.
And then
do things right.
I saw all 3 games at the Lario Center.
I mean, the dude's 4-1. I mean, look, come on back, bro. Like we coming back.
It's all good. I got you.
He can come on back, dude. Anytime. I mean, look, I see his brother every day.
There you go.
Mhm.
I see his brother every day. I told him I was gonna give him a shout out today.
Coach Hankton, I've only been to one Shaw game this year. I see the comment. He's saying it's not me.
It was you. It was you, George. That's
Okay.
why they lost to Silsby. It was you.
Oh,
It was
okay.
you. You can't come.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
You're
Well,
right.
I'm an errant grad, so I guess I got the kick out.
Give me
So
what's your boy Vonnie
VK,
VJ.
Sean?
Give me VJ.
Rashawn.
Give me him. That dude.
No, you don't want him.
He comes to all
gets
kinds of.
that
Yeah, I don't know if you want that dude.
Oh, great.
No, coach.
He's been there since we were good. He's
True.
been there. He didn't come when we sucked. I'll tell you that. Nobody came. When we sucked. I couldn't get people to come to our games. I don't know.
Mm.
We were terrible.
Coach, I'll get you out of here with this one last question. So, I'm a walk in Helen Cox gym. I see Greg Monroe's jersey retired. I can walk inside of Salmon's gym, and I can see Chris Duhan's jersey retired. I can walk in Hornville's gym and see Pokey Chapman's jersey retired. Will the day ever come when Shaw basketball ever retire some of the greats' jerseys?
Look, I would love to have that happen, man. I don't know if that's my call or whose call that is, But I mean, you think about Gerald Williams, you know, Torrey Walker.
Yeah.
Look, nobody. I don't want to get an email saying I forgot anybody's name here, but they had so many great players. What's his face that played a couple years before me in 02, 03, 02.
Tim Bush.
Tim Bush.
Yeah.
I remember watching him play. It was like I'd never seen anybody that just massive,
Yeah.
basketball. Tim Bush. Who played with Gerald? There was there's so many guys that really. I mean, you think about it. I mean, Shaw's won two state championships in basketball, and I talked to Coach Lesh when I got the job.
Nice.
And I'm like, hey, look, man, do you want? How do I get this thing going? Really,
Yeah.
What'd you do? And yada yada yada. We kind of got the guy now that knows exactly who should be where. And, Hank Tierney knows exactly who should be where. And Hank and I have a great working relationship. And it's been a pleasure to work with him. And some of those guys have been coming back around. I saw Sharon Carey today. Dude,
Yeah.
The last time I saw Sharon Carey, it was 2002. He was running all over Rummel at West Jeff. You would have thought he had on 15-inch cleats. That dude, I'm like, it was raining outside. I was in 8th or 9th grade. This dude was taking off down the side. I'm like, somebody needs to tackle this guy. Dude, he came up to my shoulder today. I'm like, this dude played, this dude was the best high school player I had ever seen besides like a couple of the other guys. I mean, this guy was unbelievable. I saw him today. I'm like, Sharon Carey's back on campus, So it's good. Like, I want all those guys to feel welcome to come on campus anytime they want, come into practice anytime they want. Look, my guys are coming back that I coach. They come back anytime they want. We have a thing that we do when guys come in. Like, when they come in, my basketball team knows to stop and acknowledge those people.
Yeah.
And we take time for those guys when they come in and acknowledge them. And we want them to feel a part of it. So, hey, I'm talking to you, alumni. Come on back, dude. Come see what's going on. If you don't know, come see. It's pretty good. It might not be as good as it was when you were there. I don't know. But it's pretty damn good now. So why don't you come check us out?
Well, it's definitely, Coach. I got to commend you on the job you've done at my alma mater. And it's been great to watch. And I'm just excited to see what the future holds. And I want to thank you for joining us on the show tonight. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, it's been a pleasure. And look, man, it's all about the kids. I've been blessed to be here, and I've been blessed to be able to be a part of the West Bank and West Bank family and Shaw. And so let's just keep it going, guys. Y'all keep coming. I tell you what, I'll let you come back, man. You come to a game. If we lose, though, if you go 0-2, you're done.
Oh, I know. I already know. I'm on alert. I got you, Coach.
All right, guys.
All right, Coach Laurendine. Take care, man.
How do I get out of here?
I got you. So, trying to remove Coach Laurendine, I mistakenly moved George Peppers. So, there he is.
He's kicking me out, dude. I see.
My bad, man. My bad. It was an accident.
I didn't do no VK stuff, man. Come on now.
I thought I was on his tag. So.
I got you good. No, but hey, that was I told you it would be in jest and all in fun. But I didn't realize that I was going to get kickback to me because I had to mention that I went to the Silsby game. See, if I'd have said I went to the other two games, I'd be all good, 2-1. I wouldn't have no problems. But no, talking about Coach Laurendine, he's done a fabulous job there at Shaw, and every alumnus should commend him for the job he's done. Look, he's been to 2 straight semifinals, and defying logic, I guess, defying last year's semis loss. 11 turnovers in 1 quarter, wide open shots.
From Scotlandville.
Yeah, from Scotlandville. Yeah. And you don't hit wide open looks. Yeah, and they're burning timeouts left and right, and Shaw still. That's an anomaly. I think by definition, that is just a straight anomaly that Y'all lost that game last year. Do I think Shaw has a chance? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do honestly think Peabody's going to be a troublesome group. We saw them play. Those guys, they swarm you defensively. I don't think they're the greatest shooting team, but they do get inside on. They do get inside on you, and they're very good inside. But it's that trap when they press you in the full court, and they know when to do it. Huh, they'll turn you over. They can turn you over, and I think in a game like that with Shaw, if a potential matchup with Peabody, your guards are going to have to be on point and recognize the open man in that game.
Oh, without a doubt. And I went to both of those state semifinal appearances that Shaw made in the last
Hmm.
2 years. The first one against Scotlandville, that third quarter, man. I mean, like he said, four uncontested layups, fast breaks, they missed.
Missed. How?
Open shots missed. I'm just sitting there like, wow. If anything had to go wrong, it was that third quarter. And then we come back a year later against Madison Prep in the semifinals, and Shaw couldn't hit a jump shot again. And I was like, gosh, like, what is going on? Like, why we can't hit jumpers? And they hit jumpers against Madison Prep. And if they make the shots in that third quarter against
They
Scotlandville,
win
Shaw is in the championship game
both years.
both years.
Both years,
Both
exactly. And then,
years.
and look what happened to Madison Prep in said championship. They won it. If I'm
And
not
Madison,
mistaken, correct?
yeah, and I talked to a few coaches in the Baton Rouge area who said Madison Prep was the best shooting team they saw all year. And when I told them, dude, Madison Prep could hit a shot to save their lives at all last year, and they're like, "You're
Nope.
lying." I said, "No, it just happened
Go
that
to the
Shaw
tape.
couldn't hit, and then they played Carver, and Carver was hitting their shots." So it's just how it happens sometimes. But to go back to Coach Laurendine for the job he has done at Archbishop Shaw, changing their program around to get it back to relevancy and get it back as one of the best programs in the state. He has done a fabulous job, and you cannot take anything away from him.
No, sir, at all. And but I thought it was a pivotal ask to ask him about Cam because Cam was that dude for y'all. Over his career at Shaw, and now he's at Loyola doing his thing with the Wolfpack. Um, and I knew Shaw would miss him, but he mentioned Aiden LaSalle. Aiden LaSalle has really come of age here down in the last few weeks, hasn't he? He's really grown and really shown some maturation. That's I think a key piece for them as the season gets to the back end.
Most definitely. We want to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will have the head coach of the Mandeville Lady Skippers basketball team, Melissa Weinmunson, right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Hey, it's Rondre Carter, defensive back at Archbishop Shaw, and you're watching Hash It Out Show. Hey, it's
Welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB the Sports Guy, joined by my co-host, George Peppers. Our next guest, he is the head coach of the Mandeville Lady Skippers basketball team. They are off to a great start with a 20-5 record. We have the one and only Melissa Weinmunson. Coach, how you doing? And thank you for joining us.
I'm very good. Thank you so much for having me tonight. So yeah, we're super excited about that so far. So I just heard the head coach from Shaw, and I just appreciate everything you guys are doing, trying to get us out there. So I'm
Oh, most
pleased to be
definitely,
here
man.
tonight.
Yes, ma'am, most definitely.
Hmm.
Coach, what was the reason or why did you want to become a basketball coach?
Well, I played all my life. I'm from La Ranger, so I'm from a
Okay.
little town. We we take it very serious there. So all my life, that's all we ever did was play basketball. And honestly, basketball gave me a free education. It actually gave me a job. So and it led me to a husband as well. So basketball is really pretty much everything to me. So it's just the competitive nature of it and just how I was raised. I love it. So, if you know anything about Laurendine basketball or the back in the heyday, it's so competitive there. And I love that nature of it. So I always wanted to be a coach. Going through school, I just always wanted to have an opportunity to have that camaraderie and relationships and hopefully have girls like me that come from a little town that get an opportunity to kind of keep continuing their dreams. So that's one of the reasons why.
What was the feeling like back in 2012 when you was announced as the new head coach for the Mandeville Lady Skippers basketball team?
Oh, it was amazing. It's surreal because I was at first it was kind of weird because like the head coach there, he was amazing. He was supposed to actually retire when I got there. Well, it kind of fell through where, he kept kind of staying, which no offense, I loved it. It's always good to work under someone with a lot of experience, I think. So he was a good guy to work underneath, but I was itching like right away. I was coming out of college, I was like, man, I'm ready. But I had to wait my turn. So it was very good experience for me, but I was like, man, I was so ready. So when they first announced me, I was like, man, this is great. And then I had a really good group coming in. So that was just amazing too. And back in the day too, like Coach Ricks was the head coach there, and he's so super successful. And there were so many good girls, and I was like just itching and watering, like my mouth was watering, just ready to get my hands on them. And finally, it was my turn, and he retired. And I was super excited about the group I got in. So that was an unbelievable experience too, to come in and just come off the Final Four with Coach Ricks, and then be with that group for 4 years, my first group, and then take them to the Final Four, where they took me to the Final Four. So that was amazing.
So you kind of leading into my next question. That was all in 2016, first playoff win for you as a head coach, and y'all got to the Final Four. Talk about that season for a little bit.
It just, those girls, it's crazy. They're just incredible young ladies. And if a lot of people, don't really know much, I didn't really know much about Mandeville, but I was just super excited because you have talent, but it's kind of mixed in and sprinkled in every other year, or you're missing a couple puzzle pieces, every now and then. I guess that's kind of how I would word it, but it's just like they don't even care. They're just gonna work, and they want to be successful, and they want to represent their school. So it was like all 5 of those girls, 1 or 2 of them really played travel basketball or AAU, or they really like worked outside of it. The rest of them were just so committed to like, coach, we're going to do whatever it takes. And they just locked in, and they bought in, and they don't want to be failures. Like they want to work so hard for you. And that whole year, I don't even know if people kept up with it, but it was just unbelievable. We held people to like 30, 35 points. And honestly, only had like 1 or 2 like girls that like knew the game of basketball. The rest of them were just like, I know my role, coach, this is what you're going to get from me. And they just like locked in and bought in. And then they were just truly special. They just, it was just such a great experience. And I don't know what it is. Like as a player, I've been a couple of times to the tournament, and it was unbelievable. It was an unbelievable experience, but I don't know. It's just, it feels different as a coach. So I would always hold on to that because I know that's rare. And it was just an unbelievable experience with that group of girls. And I'll never forget what they did for me. And they just work. And I have another group like that right now. But they're kind of more offensively minded. They're not defensively minded, but we're getting there.
I would say this in regards to you saying how it felt good to get there as a player, but how the feeling as a coach, me having a Taekwondo school, but I've won a world championship 4 times,
Wow.
and it felt great.
Hmm.
But the feeling of having your students
Hmm.
win to me was a much more better feeling than me winning one.
Hmm.
So I
Yes.
kind of understand how you feel about that.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is because I think it's to me like as a player, you can control it. Like I think you can control the outcome sometimes. But as a coach, it's super hard to control it. You can prepare them, but now it's on them. So you're like telling a 14-year-old to an 18-year-old, hey, you got all this pressure, go out and do it. And if they don't do it, it's like wow. But if they do it as a coach, you're like, man, like that felt amazing because you can see what you guys been working towards and you see that light bulb going off in that kid. And it's like, as a coach, I don't know. I get so much more excited about that than when I actually played. So I think it's way harder to experience as a coach than it was as a player.
Back in November of 2023, you got your 200 victory. What was the feeling like when you got that?
It's truly amazing. My husband's like my biggest supporter. We coach together and
Hmm.
it's an honor. And like I said, I'm very fortunate. I had unbelievable players come in and play underneath me. So, that's all them. They come in, they get the wins. I'm there. I try to prep, I try to do what I can, but those girls got me that, and had so many tremendous girls come through, that did that for me. But honestly, to tell you the truth, I really just this season alone, I'm so looking forward and not trying to look ahead too much. So I really didn't even pay attention to it. My husband knew all about it, so he was like, "Hey, I didn't even know I was at the game," and he like did a little ceremony for me at the beginning of the game or recognition, and gave me a ball, and I was like, "What is everybody doing?" And he was like, "You got your 200 win." He's got it on his phone and he's got it keeping tabs. So I love him to death for that. But I really honestly I just really I wouldn't even expecting that. You get so caught into your season and coaching. It's like it's an unbelievable honor, but that goes more towards those girls. So I'm just happy that I'm in that bracket, I guess, of more of a what is it, like a more winnable season, I guess that's a good thing. But again, we've had some seasons where we have kind of fell off, but if we can kind of keep climbing and keep staying in that category, that's amazing for us as coaches. As of course, that's what every coach would love to have. So
I want to go back to the All-State Sugar Bowl Classic tournament that was in Westwego. You guys won your side of the tournament by defeating a meet. After
yeah,
the game, I talked to Hannah, Soleil, and Alana
yeah,
after the game, and they said that you guys had lost to a meet early in the year.
yeah.
Knowing you guys had to play a meet again, this time in a tournament championship, what was your game plan in order to get this victory?
Well, when we played him again, Amy's tremendous, and Renee was my college coach. She was one of my college cuts Southeastern. So
Wow.
it's always incredible to go up against her. But they had post presence and guard presence, and she does an unbelievable job there. So when we played them at their place, again, nothing against anybody. We had one of our vocal post players go down with a torn meniscus, and she was like our leader. She was our everything. So that was like our first game competing without her on the floor. So I think the girls, again, like I said, Amy outplayed us that game by far at home at their place. But I just thought that we were kind of out of sync because we had one of our girls down and we had to kind of transition a guard down there to play in the post area. And I think she just got beat up that game and they just killed us on the inside presence. And of course, I think it was Miracle, number one, that just killed us on the threes too. But long story short, to get to where I'm going with it, I felt like we kind of transitioned so many games now with what we have in the rotation, and we have girls kind of stepping up in that spot. So I think we were feeling a little bit more confident going into that game now because, we kind of we kind of know our roles a little bit better now, even though we knew it was going to be a tough matchup. Especially, I think Miracle probably hit like 5 threes again. So the game plan was to kind of take that away, but that didn't work. I think we were a little bit more confident. I think the girls had a little bit more poise about them. And then, a big victory against Zachary because, Zachary's, got post and guard presence again. And I think when they kind of surpassed Zachary, I think that kind of helped them more too, going into the Amy game. Like, okay, like we can do this. We can play a lot better than what we did when we played them. So I think we were just looking for a confidence boost. And I think, to tell you the truth, this is the team. Like, when I saw us at the Sugar Bowl tournament, I was like, okay, this is the team I thought I would have when August hit, and I think they needed to have that in their mindset. And to tell you the truth, I think when we played Walker and we lost to Walker, I think by like 4 or 5, I think Walker, even though we lost, I think Walker opened our eyes and said, okay, we can play, we can do this. So I think that's what kind of turned the corner in that championship in the Sugar Bowl tournament, is that we actually had a little bit of confidence because, we had to play Oakdale and then Zachary and then Amite, and all those teams are unbelievably good. So I think that's kind of what helped us in that game.
Joyce Peppers, I pass it on to you, my friend.
Coach Weinmunson, first of all, thank you. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name correctly and not butchering it.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Yeah, most people do it. Good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here you go. Pat on the back. There we go. First off, thank you for taking the time for joining us. And yes, we appreciate all the compliments about, because we do it for the kids too. It's about the kids. I wanted to start with said Sugar Bowl tournament, and I asked this about Coach Laurendine. I want to ask you 2-part question. One, what are the benefits of playing in a tournament of that magnitude, considering the caliber of competition? And 2, doesn't it feel like a one-site compressed version of the NCAA tournament? Uh-oh. Can you hear me, Coach?
I think we lost Coach for a second. Coach,
I can't hear you, kind of going in and out. But I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
I hear you great. I hear you fine.
Am I connected?
We hear you, Coach.
I don't know.
You hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
We hear you, Coach. We can hear you fine.
Am I back?
If you want me to repeat,
I don't know.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think you were asking.
If you want me to repeat the question, that's okay. Yes,
we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, because.
Okay. Do me a favor, Coach.
Okay. It was pretty bad.
Jared, can you hear me?
I hear you, George. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. If I could repeat the question, I'll gladly do it. Wait, I heard it.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if I'm losing.
Coach, do me a favor right quick. Log out and log back in.
I can't hear.
I don't know if she heard you, Jared.
Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna.
You can get her to log out right quick and get her to log back in and see that
Yeah,
work.
we'll do that.
Yeah, I see. Hopefully she can hear you.
Frustrating, isn't it?
All the time,
I know.
All the time.
It's the specter of VK. I don't be jinxing it.
VK trying to enter our internet. So we sorry. Yeah. We apologize for the technical difficulties.
You good?
Try to get Coach back in here right quick and see if she can hear us. But let's see now if she comes back in.
Can you hear me? You can hear me fine, can you?
I hear you fine. Let's bring her back in.
All right.
Can you hear us, Coach?
Nope.
I can't hear Coach.
Me neither.
Okay. She's not muted. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Our internet is fine. I don't know what happened.
That cold weather, Coach. Blame the cold. Don't blame the internet. Blame the cold.
Maybe so. All right, I can hear you asking me about the Sugar Bowl tournament. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me extrapolate. It was a two-part question. First off, um, the benefits of playing in a tournament of that setting, considering the caliber of teams that usually go there, and then winning it. Also, doesn't it feel like a compressed one-site version of the NCAA tournament where you're playing games on different courts? Oh, not again.
I actually told my girls. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're
Yeah,
good. You're good.
Why can't they hear me? I'm sorry.
I hear you.
Yeah, you hear me?
we
Okay.
got
Well,
you,
I
Coach.
actually told my. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I actually told my
Okay.
girls that this is, and even all of our assistant coaches, we actually told our girls this is the platform that we need to be on to get experience, because it's going to feel like a environment. And if we're praying and hoping and we can keep this basketball up, and I don't even like to talk about it, but we, of course, everybody wants, so of course that's still like an environment for the big stage. So it was just a great job what the Sugar Bowl tournament does by allowing you to feel that experience. So I thought that was super important for those girls, be there and have presence and feel that and play under a little bit of that pressure. So I think it's very important.
When you talk about District 6-5A, there's a lot of really good teams in that district. You guys, I think, are the front runners to me in that district, especially considering you won the most prestigious tournament in the season. Talk about 6-5A and how that can help you as you head to the state playoffs.
We're starting district on Friday, and we were talking about practice today. I was kind of going crazy today at
Mhm.
practice because now to me district's a new season. So everything that you've done before is great, but district kids don't care your accolades are going to the district. They don't care who you are. They want to knock you off. They want to beat you. They're going to play harder than ever. Because everybody wants to try to win their district. And we have North Shore that has one of a great, unbelievable guard. We have Slidell coming in that's killing it defensively. Then of course Tula. So we're always having to go against Ponchatoula and all these good teams. Fountain Blue has a great record. Everybody in our district is doing an unbelievable job. So our district, to me, I think is super hard. Of course, Patricia is always killing it every year, and we have to go to her place. So we're up against back-to-back 4 openers against district. It's not going to be no walk in the park. We have to really lock in, play on both sides of the floor to come away with wins, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a dogfight day in and day out every time we go play in our district. So yes, our district helps us unbelievably to get in. It helps us get ready. It's not going to be like I said. We might have 1 or 2 teams maybe that we can be like, okay, like all right, we can get some other girls in substitution, but it's going to be totally hard to do that and get in certain games because we have to really lock in and play 32 minutes. It's tough. So yeah, our district is super hard, I think.
You guys sit 5th in the power ratings unofficially as we speak, and that's right at the precipice of the state championship contenders are right there. One of the games that you played this year, and you touched on it earlier. I wanted you to extrapolate on it going into it. You guys lost to Walker. They're undefeated this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Lost that game by 4 points. How much confidence did you guys take away from playing a team of that caliber to the wire like that? How much confidence did you take away from that game? And did that game was the impetus of how you did in the Sugar Bowl tournament?
I think you're right. I think a lot of times when it's funny, we say all of our girls okay, we're Walker for now on. That's what we're doing for 32 more games. So
Oh, wow.
that's kind of what our that's what we're saying, and what I mean by that is we went in their home gym, and we did little things and we did correct things to keep us in the game. And sometimes we were winning certain quarters. I think we won 2 out of 4 quarters against them. And Walker, to look at the scores, they're it's been double digits. I think they're beating everybody by double digits and single digits. I think that's kind of like our kind of our motive for the rest of the year. Like, if you can stay with the #1 team in the state, you should be able to compete and stay with anybody in the state. So I think we kind of use that as our motivation. And I think, even though we lost to them, we had actually opportunity to tie and take it right at the end. And we just, again, it just didn't fall like that. But, I think that game, though, opened our eyes and said, hey, we can play, we can be competitive, and we can play with some of the best teams in the state. We hated to lose, of course, but I think that team turned the page for us by playing Walker.
I think on a neutral court setting, and I never want to look too far ahead, but if you catch those girls again on a neutral court setting, i.e. the playoffs, I think you guys would have a reasonably good chance to knock them off. Just an opinion on that. Last question before I turn it back over to our esteemed host. What is the strength of your team? You guys have won 20 games already this year to this point. Where do you feel like your strengths are, and what would propel Mandeville to have a chance to win a state title?
To tell you the truth, I think our strengths are I guess you could say, like, our offensive presentation. So, like, we have girls that, like, if someone, again, it's not like this all the time, but if someone plays zone, we have 3 or 4 girls can knock down the 3. And then if someone tries to pressure us, we have 3 collegiate guards on the floor that can break it. So, and handle it. And then, if someone tries to play us man, then you're going to have to stop 3 or 4 girls getting to the rim. So, we have that type of presence. And then we actually have another guard that's, been stepping up and playing. And like I said, in my girl's position that tore meniscus, she could actually spread the floor and shoot the 3 as well. So we actually are playing with 5 guards. Of course, we always want a big presence. That would be amazing. But our 5 guards that we have, when they lock in and they do the little things on both sides of the floor, it's nice to kind of watch. It kind of gives me, chills, because it reminds me of that 2015 team. Like, man, they're locked in. They're going to be special. But I got to get them to understand that they got to play on both sides of the floor. And we're getting there in the Sugar Bowl tournament. I thought that that's the best defensive representation that we had of us yet. So I don't think we gave up a lot of offensive rebounds. We didn't turnovers. So I mean, there's things that they're doing. I just hope that we can stay on uphill roller coaster so we can stay there. But I think that's our. I think we have a guard. We're guard heavy when it comes down to, and I think that's hard sometimes when you try to throw different defenses at us, because we can handle the ball, we can shoot the ball, we can get to the rim. But, and I just wish, sometimes, like, we had a bigger post presence, but I'm so happy, of course, what we have. I love my girls, and they're working super hard. And we got girls coming off the bench that are doing a great job too, shooting the ball well. So I just hope we can keep this up.
Coach Weinmunson, I just want to tell you that January 26th is already circled on my calendar when y'all travel to Ponchatoula. So I will be there to see that game in person. But other than that, I want to say thank you for joining us on the show, and good luck to you and your team throughout the rest of the season. We truly appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us.
Yes, ma'am. Take care.
All right, you too. All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Coach Weinmunson, and I'm going to say this. The job she's done this season is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Hannah Benoit can shoot the ball. Soleil Berry can shoot the ball and shoot the corner 3. Alana Benoit, and she's only a sophomore. She is so smooth. Oh, man. Seeing her at the Lario Center for that Sugar Bowl tournament, oh, man. She's smooth. She could get to the rim. She could pull up. She could cross over. Alana Benoit is so smooth as a basketball player. George, you wasn't there that Saturday, but man, Mandeville opened my eyes when they defeated a meet.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you, no team should overlook the Mandeville Lady Skippers this season. Yes, they're fifth in the power rankings, and that is just not, you know, how would I say it? Oh, they just there for the time being. No, they are legit. And that's why January 26th and GP, if you off or get off early enough, we're going to Ponchatoula. Because I think that Mandeville Ponchatoula game
It's
will
probably
be,
for 6-5A.
it might be, but don't count out Slidell.
Yeah, those
Don't count
girls
out
defend like
Slidell.
crazy. They're defensive stalwarts.
Yes.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's going to be one hell of a ball game. What are your thoughts, right quick, on the Mandeville Lady Skippers, coached by
Well,
Coach Weinmunson?
I stand by the assertion I made. I feel like if they catch Walker, who is the quote standard bearer in that division, to go to their gym and have a chance to tie or win it late, and if it fell short, I would love Mandeville's chances on a neutral court. Now, granted, you heard Coach Weinmusson expound on the fact that they don't have much of a post game, that they run five guards on the floor. That can come back to get them if their shots are not falling. If they get into a rough shooting night, um, with TC in the house, but if they run into a team that can defend a little bit and their shots are off, that could be a problem. I just think that they're so gifted, and saw some of the clips, of their game. You posted some of the the stuff from Mandeville. You can check it out. Show it at the hashitoutshow.com. We got a ton of stuff there for you, even our bios. So but Coach Weinmunson, engaging interview, engaging coach. She's got a really good basketball team. And the
Does
26th, that is when? That is a
next Friday?
okay. I would well no. I'm not see, I start class on the 22nd at my level 2,
Yeah.
and we don't get out of there till like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Oh man,
Um and they tip at
and
what,
they play at
7?
6. They play at 6.
6?
Yeah.
That's so probably a hard pass, but yeah, that class is, like I told you, it's extremely important
Yep.
and whatnot. But yeah, that's going to be a hard no, a very hard no, because that would be a matchup I could sit back and watch. And 6-5A, Jared, that's a very strong district. I think with Mandeville and those teams, the quality of teams that are there, North Shore, Ponchatoula, Slidell, those are
Yep.
good basketball teams. And I think that's going to help them continue to keep them sharp and focused as we get to the playoffs. And I would not be surprised if the Lady Skippers go to, and I think it's Hammond, right, that hosts the girls, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So they would be playing their games at Southeastern,
Yep.
the gym. I would not be surprised to see the Lady Skippers up there. And you root for people like Coach Weinmunson. She's very a pleasurable interview, and she's got a great group. And you saw the girls play at the Sugar Bowl tournament. Those girls are aces. I mean, they could get it.
Yes.
Especially Hannah Benoit. I wish I would have been with you that Saturday, when I was, just had some things happen, and whatnot. But you know, there's no price tag on good basketball in the state of Louisiana, and we at the Hash It Out Show are doing our best to do that and show it to you. A lot of entities, to be quite frank, shut it down after football season. We don't. We keep going.
You keep going.
We truck along, we grind, we do the work, and the benefits will reap itself.
That's right. That's right. Tell you what though, man, Mandeville, be on the lookout. TC, I've talked about St. James, to be honest with you, with a few people. I've talked about it. I've heard about these girls at St. James this season. So yeah, I'm gonna do my best to come out there for one of y'all games. I will do my best, most definitely. But I've talked about it. Trust me, I have. Uh, before we get out of here, George. Before we get out of
Hmm.
here, I think you mentioned something you wanted to talk about before we started the show. I'm trying to remember what
Uh,
you said.
oh, it's about the Mickey Loomis thing, the press conference
Ah,
today.
yeah. Go ahead. I'll give you the
I
floor, George.
mean, you sure? I mean, this could get very ugly.
Hey,
Um,
go ahead.
oh, I don't know who this is. I don't know if you've seen this comment.
We the goat. I'll
Yeah,
say
we
he's
are.
the greatest of all time.
That's it.
That is.
I mean, we have made tremendous strides in 2 years,
Yes.
and look at the rep we've gotten. Look at the Sugar Bowl tournament. We gained a lot of fans there. Heck, even at work, even while work. I mean, I had a guy that comments on our show, and he's like, "Man, y'all do a hell of a job. Y'all do it for the kids." I said, and that's what it's about.
Yep.
But nevertheless, about the clown show, the dog and pony show today at Saints Drive. I don't know if Mickey Loomis is dealing in reality or fantasy in trying to even insinuate that Dennis Allen belongs amongst the names of Bill Belichick, Tom Landry, Shula. Can I keep going?
You can.
Or am I good?
You go.
Um, I mean, the guy's got a 33% winning percentage at two stops, not one, two. He got his first winning season this year, 9-8, but in a division that arguably was theirs for the taking. And look, Saints fans are going to say this, and you know what? I don't blame them. Man, that could have been us. We'd have mauled Philadelphia. You're probably right. But when you have the impotency that you do at the head coaching position and the lack of credibility at the head coaching position, this happens. 9-8. But for Mickey Loomis to say the things he said today and to even insinuate to compare and contrast with those deans of coaching, Belichick, Shula, Landry. I mean, Shula and Landry were icons when I was a kid, and Tom Landry still has the preeminent stat that I will always cherish. He's made 18 consecutive playoffs. 18. That's incredible. And in a league that was still wide open back in the day that wasn't top heavy, that's a great stat. Shula has the most wins as a head coach. Don Shula has the perfect season, of course. So you're telling me, Mickey Loomis, with a straight face, that Dennis Allen compares to those guys? Know your role and cool it, bro. No, no, stop it. I mean, the complete foolishness that you're spewing. I also saw a rumor, and Jared, I don't know how much you know about this, but there's talk that Mickey Loomis may kick himself upstairs to be the vice president of operations, and Kai Harley may take over as GM. I
But
would be 100% behind this. This
that
was
that's because Kyle Hartley is being is being
courted.
yeah, he's being
Yeah,
recruited.
by
I
was
guess
it
you could say by
Carolina? Yeah,
other
by
teams.
Carolina was it? Yeah,
Yeah,
Carolina.
exactly. That's just the
I
key
mean,
here.
look, and Kai Harley is a salary cap whiz. That's his strength. He knows how to work the cap. He doesn't spend ahead like Mickey does. Mickey shops like LF left the Bills. Oh,
Fournette.
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah,
That's probably who he's talking about. Well,
yeah,
Fournette's on the backside of his career anyway, so
yeah.
TC,
He just
let's say that. But yeah, Jared, I mean, that's just my thoughts. Look, man, the Saints could have done so much more this year at the end of the day. But when you have the short sightedness that you do, and I know we talked about this last night about the John Gruden potential hire. When it's short sighted like that, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win when you're short sighted and narrow minded. And that's what I have to say.
I'll say this. I keep it short and quick. Um, Mickey Loomis looked like a complete clown, a complete idiot,
I know.
straight up. That, I mean, I really have no words for it except he's looked and sounded like a clown, a complete idiot. That's just it.
Hmm.
I really don't have nothing else to say about that.
He lost me when he said tried to compare Derek Carr to Drew Brees. The
Uh,
blasphemy, sir. The blasphemy.
yeah, and right here, that game came back to bite the Saints in the ass. Right there.
It did.
Blowing the 17-0 lead to the Packers in the fourth quarter.
But look what Green Bay did in the playoffs. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jordan Love. I mean, knocking out the quote icons of the NFL, the lies.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, TC. I don't know if I would get rid of Derek Carr. I mean,
Derek
I
Carr
play
had a
devil.
pitiful
Mhm.
year. Yeah, then yes. After next year, definitely.
Not, yeah, you can't do it after this year.
Right.
That just finished.
DC, it's with the contract. 2 years, you can get rid of him. And we'll
I
get
hope
right
I
back.
hope he's a man of his word and restructures said contract, TC. Because he said if he restructures, it would knock off 25 million. But the Saints are 72 million above the cap. Nice work, Mickey.
That really
Nice
is
work.
pretty much. They're gonna reduce some
Salary
cash
cap
and get
down.
a signing bonus.
Yeah, prorated and all that foolishness. That's like a scare from Alcatraz. That's what every year is for the Saints with the cap. It
Oh man,
really is.
yes indeed. Well,
Mhm.
ladies and gents, we thank you all for joining us tonight on the Hash It Out show. We will be back definitely next Wednesday. Definitely next Wednesday. We will be back. We don't know about Tuesday yet, but if we are coming back on Tuesday, you'll know on our social media accounts on
Yep.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You'll know on there. But definitely next Wednesday, we will definitely try to have a guest or two to join us like we always do. Malik Neighbor says he does not want to come to the Saints. So I would say forget him. Or be like Sean Payton when Sean Payton told Reggie Bush agent after the agent said that Reggie doesn't want to come to the Saints. Sean Payton said, "F you."
Yeah.
Same thing he would have told Arthur Smith, "F you."
Yes, indeed. Mm,
Oh man. Oh
brutal.
man. GP, you got any last words, my friend?
Well, I mean, it's a great show tonight and sans VK, but also just to note the Pelicans are on their way to a win. They were up 128-107 inside of a minute to go. They did partake in a three-team trade today. Don't know if you saw that, but they just threw away a second-round pick and traded Kyra Lewis, who never got his footing here,
No.
and that was part of the Pascal Siakam trade that he went to Indiana. So, but it was a great show tonight. Two great guests. I'm glad I'm able to go to Shaw whenever you go. I said
Yeah. If they
but I'm
lose,
on a
you
short
out.
leash, sir. I mean, I'm on a short leash.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be real helpful, TC. I don't know if he's seeing this message, but
yeah, I
he's
see it. I
sending.
got it posted up. Yeah.
Okay,
He'll send
but
it to
yeah, I would.
me. Yeah.
But that with that said, Jared, it's always fun when it's just, even with VK is great stuff because the banter. I mean, it's beautiful what we do. And the other thing about this class that I told you about, I won't be able to be at the state tournament. The in Lake
Oh,
Charles.
Lake Charles? Okay, I
Both,
got
both, because the class ends at the end of March, and they both. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you saw that. No, they didn't.
you. The Golden State. Okay, no doubt.
Prayers, yeah, prayers to Golden State
Yeah,
coach, one of their assistant coaches, passing away of a massive heart attack.
yeah.
Thoughts and prayers and condolences out to that group and that there and his family.
Did the Pels get anyone? No, they didn't get
No,
anyone. No, they didn't get anyone. Not at all.
mm-mm.
Well, everybody, that is it for the Hash It Out show tonight. Like I said, we're definitely back next Wednesday. You guys will know if we're back on Tuesday through social media accounts. For George Peppers, and special thank yous to Coach Wesley Laurendine of Archbishop Shaw and Coach Melissa Weinmunson of Mandeville. We want to thank them for joining us. I'm JB the Sports Guy. We'll see y'all next week right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Hello, this is Daniel Beal, quarterback of the Calicut Bears, the Division I Select State Champion, and you're watching the Hash It Out Show.
You're watching the Hash It Out Show!
Thank you for watching the Hash It Out show. Please like,